It's the next level of Urban Renewal 2.0, and lots of hope is being placed in this particular program. I'm Clint Watson. I'll tell you all about it coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
Police investigating another murder in southern New Providence. The details straight ahead.
Coming up first at 6, another fire in Abaco wiping out an entire shanty town. We'll give you the details, so stay tuned.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
Peace ambassadors invading the inner city as government puts a grip on crime. Good evening, I'm Andrew Knowles.
And I'm LaDawn Davis. Thanks for joining us. As the government marks its second anniversary in office this week, it's intensifying and expanding the work of its flagship Reformation program. Urban Renewal 2.0 launched a new component called Peace Ambassadors.
This innovative approach combines social programs and the church to create a new faith-based initiative the government feels has been the missing link in winning the war on crime. Volunteers will be charged with listening to and talking with residents affected by crime, whether victims or perpetrators.
Well, tonight, Clint Watson introduces us to the program and the bold charge from government leaders to those who have signed on to this latest fight.
There is a new twofold strategy that's about to tackle crime head-on. It's a faith-based initiative focused on passing peace and showing love through listening and talking with residents in inner-city communities and referring them to the relevant agencies for help. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Urban Development Philip Davis says while the tenets of this program may be simple, history has proven in other jurisdictions that it's quite effective.
We are an angry society, and we need to calm our most vicious tendencies to lash out at everything and everyone. This type of behavior has not been made easier by the fact that we have a media and other forms of social communication which seem to take delight in flaming this fire of discontent.
Minister Davis encouraged ambassadors as they go about doing their work to do so with the support of police. He also stressed that they should focus on listening and demonstrate compassion.
You cannot do your work effectively if your only interest is to make the evening news or the newspaper the following day. The most effective form of communication will be when you do your work quietly but effectively.
Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie has found renewed confidence in the fight against crime with this Each One Reach One initiative with ears on the ground. He reminded volunteers that they have a responsibility to report what they learn and find out.
Just one soul being saved and understood to have been saved, understood to know the difference between right and wrong and committing him or herself to what is right is progress. And that's how you measure it. Police officer, no combination of police officers who could convince me we cannot minimize what is happening in this country. 7 by 21. But we got to get all of you involved in it. This kind of organization is a recognition that everybody is redeemable.
Mr. Christie, quoting the Book of Chronicles, subscribes to the belief that if the people of the country will turn to prayer and away from sin, God will heal our land.
So in order for peace ambassadors to be most effective, they themselves must have themselves inner peace and exude calm.
And it's important to know that the government says while they don't expect to see changes immediately, they recognize that there will be long-term changes. But they say the hardest part is just starting, and that's what they've done today is to begin the process. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Meanwhile, investigations continue tonight into the country's latest murder, which took place in southern New Providence earlier today. And as Fern Carey reports, the incident took place just hours after the victim marked a major milestone.
A large crowd of curious onlookers gathered in Nan's Garden off Cowpen Road as the body of murder victim Hendrik Glazer, also known as Trigger, was removed by undertakers. The incident leaving many in the tight-knit community in shock. Superintendent of Police Stephen Dean says police were called to the Wooden home shortly after 10 Monday morning following the shocking discovery.
Police received a report that a man was found dead in the home on the corner of Cowpen Road, referred to as Nane's Garden. Police responded. When the police arrived on the scene, they met the lifeless body of a male with multiple injuries to the upper part of his body. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Police are unable to determine how those injuries happened or what type of injuries. We are actively investigating in the preliminary stage of our investigations, which will determine what happened. We have no motive for this information at the moment.
Now, relatives say the victim had just celebrated his 30th birthday last night, which was also the anniversary of his mother's death.
The victim's sister, Linda Pierre, noted that her brother, a construction worker, appeared happy and had taken the day off to celebrate his birthday on Sunday. She recalled learning about his tragic death.
It's a couple of minutes before we actually went there. Actually, I asked him, he said, well, I just left him home. So his other brother's like, well, I just left him home, he's laying down. And then when we started to eat, I was like, well, I can't eat nothing. I said, go get him. So my little brother, he liked walking in hot sun, so he went ahead. And like I said, I stayed back. And when we came there, his lifeless body just was, that was a sight to see. So I didn't know whether he got shot or stabbed because there's blood everywhere and holes all over his body.
Now, if you have any information that can help police solve this latest murder, contact Crime Stoppers Hotline or your nearest police station. Fern Carey, ZNS Network News.
Another fire has wiped out another shanty town in Abaco. More than 100 persons are now displaced and have registered for assistance with the Ministry of Social Services. Ministers of National Security, Social Services and Housing were all on the island this morning to assess the damage. Janea Noel Ferguson was also there, and she tells us tonight that a mentally unstable man may have been responsible for the blaze.
Fire sparks still visible on the remains of the shanty town that housed more than 60 structures on sandbanks in Treasure Key, Abaco. The fire started early Sunday, leaving a significant number of persons displaced.
I could see the flames. The fire just was raising and it was burning. It started burning the hoses to the back, but you know, it was catching the front yet. It took about 15 to 20 minutes before the fire engine could come, because I probably think they was trying to fool up the fire engines for water or whatever.
I was sleeping when I outside they say fire, and I came out with got my phone. The first thing I do, grab my phone and call Mr. Collins to come to help us with the fire.
We fought the fire for approximately 5.5 hours. There were a few challenges as water accessibility, but I would thank all the volunteers for their service coming out in the middle of the night.
Government officials on the ground first thing Monday morning to assess the damage and to render assistance. It was noted that the illegal structures were built on private land.
Just over 100 adults. We have some 36 to 40 children of school age, and also there are 15 infants.
We're here to provide emergency relief, but whatever is done in terms of reconstruction, it will certainly have to be done in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
We must stop these types of occasions from happening. And if people just obey the rules and regulations and the laws that govern our country, I don't think that we would have this kind of tragedy.
Now, residents who lived in this shanty town reported that a mentally unstable man resided here, and he has been giving problems for quite some time. They hold him responsible.
The person has a mental problem. From the day before he did it, he went out on the road running naked, and they had to put clothes on him.
Who have said to us that he has a challenge, but we want to be able to establish that in a way where we can speak specifically to it. And then it'll help us as we move forward. We've had no major incidents with this individual, maybe minor items, nothing of significance of this matter.
Meanwhile, area MP Renato Curry says preventative measures must be examined.
A couple of months ago, we had one in Marsh Harbor in the Mud and Pigeon Peas. And so we really want to look at prevention as how do we stop this from happening again, because this affects so many people.
Those that need assistance are encouraged to come forward. Government officials say they need not fear that an immigration roundup will take place. Janea Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
And still to come, the nation's chief making a major announcement that will impact over-the-hill communities.
And Royal Bank teaming up with the Red Cross. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Lux Men's Warehouse.